Hello inflatable fans, I hope you're all well. Today I am testing this out. It's the Flextail Max boat pump to pump up inflatable boats. And it's only tiny. I've got it out of the box here, look. That's my hand. That's quite small, isn't it? Now it inflates boats to 1.7 psi, which is pretty good. So yes, it won't do a full drop stitch at 10 to 12, but for standard inflatable boats, it will do them. Comes with this nice little carry bag, and inside here I've got a couple of the adapters. There we go, look. There's a Boston one, and then there's like an air mat one there. But what is really kind of neat about this is if you lift that up, you see where it says pull there? If you pop that up, you can actually store your favourite ones inside the device itself, which, let's face it, that's pretty handy, and that just magnet shuts. How neat is that? So on the front, you've got like a charging port here, which is USB-C, and that is actually quite hard to get back in. I've just actually pulled that out. That's not supposed to happen. Put that back on there. And that's your intake. Sorry, that's the intake, and that's the output port. So depending on which way around where you put the actual valve, depending on whether it inflates or deflates. As I say, it's nicely shaped. That on the front there, that's your on-off switch. So let's pop that on. And then there's a nice little screen at the top that, I think you can see that, that's flashing at 1.7 psi, which you can, that's the maximum. So you can take that down or take it up depending on where you want to go. And so it's got auto shut off at that, whatever you set it to. Quite handy, right? Let's have a quick look in the box if I just lift the lid off it. So you do get a set of instructions. Now, these are mostly in Chinese or some kind of Asian language, with some instructions at the back which are dualed. Operations to prevent mistakenly touching. You know, it's that kind of pidgin English. I still haven't found what that M button's for. I might have to just play about with that. I don't think it's vital because the machine does actually work. But you do get instructions in the box, and there is also a charging cable. There's one of the things that doesn't fit in there as well that I'm never going to use, one of the adapters. I've managed to pop that back in, the charging thing. It is quite hard to fit actually, it back into the socket once you've pulled it out. You can see the green light indicator there, that's indicating, it appears to be flashing because of the way the megahertz and stuff works, but it's not really. That's just to indicate that the machine's fully charged. So let's test it out. I've got 3 boats over there, 2 packrafts and a kayak, and I'll explain why the kayak in a bit, but let's inflate the packrafts first. I'll time it, see how long it takes. So that's the Aquaglide Expedition packraft. This is the output valve. So what we're going to do is put the Boston valve on top of there, turn this on, okay, set that to 1 psi because that's what this boat inflates to, and let's give it a go and see how long it takes. You can see that took 2 minutes 36 seconds to do the main chamber. Let's do the floor chamber. That wasn't bad at all, at just over 30 seconds, 34 seconds I think you can see that. Next up we've got the Biluta packraft. Now that one, the valve on that one just there, which you can barely see, is a Halkey Roberts, that style, not a Boston. So I've got this Halkey Roberts adapter. This didn't come with the pump, so I'm going to add that to the pump, and then we'll do that one. That's just 1 chamber. I'm inflating this one to 1 psi as well. 2 minutes 36, so around about the same time as it was to do the body of the Aquaglide over there. So yeah, for a packraft to do the main chamber, roughly 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to do that. Took a little bit longer with the Aquaglide because of the floor, so 3 minutes to do one with the floor, 2.5 minutes to do the main chamber, one with the main chamber. Not bad, right? So next up we've got the Aquaglide Cirrus Ultralight Kayak. This inflates to 3 psi in the tubes and 6 in the floor, but I want to see what it's like inflating it to the maximum on here at 1.7. And again, this is Halkey Roberts valves, so it does need the adapter on it. Let's see if you can see that. 1 minute 27 seconds, so roughly 3 minutes to do the 2 tubes. The interesting thing now is going to be doing the drop stitch floor, normally inflated to 6 psi, but let's see what it's like inflated with this to 1.6, 1.7 psi. Now that's quite interesting. So I had to take the valve off again earlier. It got the floor to 1.5 psi, and as you saw there from lifting it up, that's not bad. That would get you home. There's no problem with that getting you home, because this is now inflated to roughly what something like an Intex Challenger or Intex Excursion would be inflated to, about 1.5 psi. You know, your standard cheap inflatables. It's got more air in it than those, so as an emergency pump, this is where I see this has been really useful. As a small emergency pump to take with you on a trip, rather than carrying one of the big pumps, you know, one of the big hand pumps, or one of the bigger rechargeable cordless pumps like the one I've reviewed before. I think that's really handy, because as I say, if you did happen to need to put some air in, if you had an incident where one of your chambers went down or something, at least you could put enough air in it to limp your way home. So what do you think? I'm actually quite impressed and pleased with it. I think it's a good purchase. Still showing us as green as though it's fully charged, so obviously it will have used some, but it's still got plenty of juice left in it. And it's inflated those 3 crafts there, and it's managed to do a drop stitch floor. Don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. As I say, I think this would make a good emergency pump. I'll put some links in the comments and description below so you can check it out for yourself. Cost me about 70 quid, I think it was. Yeah, quite chuffed with that. Alright, you know what to do about liking, subscribing, blah 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 blah. You've heard it all before. Thanks so much for watching. You take care of yourself. Oh, no, before I go, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deflate them with this, and we'll see what it's like. So I'll include that footage after this if you want to stick around and watch that. Alright, if not, cheerio. Right, so in order to use this in deflate mode, I need to pop that off there and pop it on to the outlet valve, so that'll take the air in there and out there. Actually, I've realised there's no point with the Aquaglide Expedition because they're Boston valves and they let air out really quickly and easily anyway, so it will do it with this Halkey Roberts one on these valves. I don't think that Bilute has ever had so little air in it. You heard the noise change, 2.5 minutes. Same again with the Cirrus. Flat as a pancake. Yeah, pretty good job that. About 3 minutes, so about the same time to deflate as it was to inflate. Hope you found that useful. As I said before, you take care of yourself. Cheerio.